So today we're going to focus on some basic input and output. So we're going to open our previous project. And there it is. We're going to add a new track. We can change the synthesizer here. So we're just going to add studio horns, mono, hit create, and close our library. And now we're going to adjust the panning and adjust our volume here at the track. And we can have some input of our string instrument here. And that's coming from our MIDI keyboard. We can mute tracks so that when we play back we only hear one, or we can solo a track which will mute all the other tracks. And we can hear them independently from themselves, or we can hear them all together. Right, and I'm just hitting the space bar to hit play, and the return key will go back to the beginning. Alright, now I'm going to import an audio file. So one way you can do that is just drag it into your project, and it will create a track for you, and import the audio into your project. So I can also delete that track, and I'll show you another way we can import audio, which is down under the import file option. So we create an audio track first. I'm assigning it no input, so we're not going to record onto it. We're just going to import audio from disk. And it's on our desktop, so I select it, click open, and then it imports it onto the track that I made. And I can move it around, and now there it is. A nice boing sound. I'm going to change my instrument. Go ahead and close that. You can also search for instrument sounds in the library. I can change my instrument there at the inspector, and then I can search for different presets. And there you are. Easy way to find instruments and change them, find presets of instruments and change them. Alright, and then I can record on that track using my MIDI keyboard and just punch in a few notes. And then if I double click it, it opens up the editor window, which is also open and closed using the E key. E is a shortcut key. You can also just double click on the actual audio or MIDI file to open up that edit window. Okay, now I'm going to record some audio on a track. I create a new track and I have to set its input. For me it's a different input, but you would just choose built-in audio. You hit record, and you want to solo the track so you only hear that while you're recording. Hit record and clap a few times. And now you have yourself your first original recording. There you go. If I need to see things a little closer up, I can use those sliders to change the vertical and horizontal view, or if you also use the shortcut key, which is Alt, and the mouse wheel will change it horizontally and vertically depending on which way I move my mouse. So you can do it more methodically, or you can do it more organically with your mouse by holding on Alt when you're in the arrangement view. There's also the menus of the track or the arrangement window. These have different elements of view as well as functions and editing options of deleting and creating tracks that you can use. This little bar up here is your looping bar. It defines what will loop in playback, and it will only loop in playback, not in the actual rendering or bouncing of the audio. So when you turn that on, you see there's a little looping icon now, and it goes right back to the beginning. This is a good way to test if your audio will loop well. And then you hit X, that opens up your mixer window, and you can do more sophisticated things. You can still do this traditional muting and soloing of the tracks that you see in your arrangement view, but it also gives you other options that we'll go over later. So we can adjust levels here on a more fine-tuned basis, adjust our panning here, and you see it all in a very organized platform, and then go back to your arrangement window and hear the results. Gives us some other options too, to add in effects or processing that we want. I'm going to change my view to beats and time so I can see both the beat playback and the time playback, and this is where I can adjust where I want to play back my my session in case I wanted to start exactly at like 4 or 5 seconds. I can just adjust it, and then I can start there, and I could adjust my loop playback also to start at that point. It tells you where it starts and ends there in the view, and then you can just listen to a very particular point that you may want to work with for a little bit longer. So now I'm going to bounce my whole project. Let's pretend I'm done. And bouncing renders all the tracks, and so make sure that the start and end are correct. If you started at the first measure, that's what these things are telling you. It's measure, beat, and then note, and then tick. So make sure it's correct. I can also add in different file formats. So PCM is basically uncompressed. I can change different settings. We'll learn about these on a different day. We have dithering, other fun things. And you would hit bounce. Okay, now I'm going to save my project and quit Logic Pro and